right, we are live. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Grapevine Wellness Show. I see some folks logging in. Thank you for your patience and thank you for coming. Make yourselves at home. I'm your host, Jolyn Armstrong, and I am so glad you're here today. For those of you who are new here, who I may not have met yet, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me while everyone's logging in here still. A little bit about me. My kind of passion is helping people navigate those awful, difficult times in life. That's where my skill set lies, oddly enough. None of us want to have our lives disrupted, but all of us do at one time or another. And having someone like me help guide you through and teach you the tools and skills that will help you through those difficult times always makes the outcome better, always makes the experience a little bit less traumatizing and difficult. And so I take a few different skill sets that I have. I'm a certified trauma recovery coach, a grief recovery specialist. I'm certified in somatic embodiment and also a breathwork practitioner. And I use all of those tools kind of in conjunction to help my clients through their unique experience. And so if you or a loved one have found yourselves struggling to navigate one of these times or have been through a difficult time without support and find yourself struggling to recover, please do reach out. You can reach me by email at connect@grapevineinnerwellness.com, or you can call or text 916-415-8619 to schedule a time to chat. All right, so that's a little bit about me, what I do, a little bit about this show. Our mission on this show is to bring our viewers and listeners meaningful conversations that offer hope, support, practical tools for navigating life's challenges. Today's episode is one that I absolutely love because I'm telling you, planning ahead is always better than reacting during or after the fact and can make all the difference. The best part is those who are watching this show live can ask our guests questions after our interview, so be sure to stick around for that and find the Q&A button during the show. You can definitely put your questions in and we'll address those by the end of the show. All right, and a little bit about our guest. Our guest, Matt, here, with nearly 2 decades of experience in community relations. Matt has dedicated his career to strengthening the ties between organizations and the people in the communities that they serve. His passion lies in creating meaningful connections that drive awareness, support, and funding for nonprofits and community initiatives. It's such beautiful work. Through this work, he's played a key role in coordinating large-scale events, fostering partnerships, and leading public outreach efforts to make a real difference. His ability to bring people together, whether through securing grant funding, engaging new donors, or collaborating with local leaders, has amplified the missions of numerous foundations and organizations. Matt is a true connector. Being that natural connector and advocate, Matt is at the heart of initiatives that build stronger, more vibrant communities. I'm so excited to have him on the show to share his insights, experiences, and the impact in his work. Matt, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you. And being a connector in the community, I know you see gaps in our communities. I want to talk about that with you tonight for sure, but welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on your show. You've yourself connected very fast in the Reno area and have already started making a huge impact. So, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. I always like seeing Matt at an event because he'll always connect us with with someone, right? But yeah, let's talk about some of those gaps and what we're here for, understanding the challenges that we're facing here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm currently with Lend a Hand Home Care, and within the first year, I've been there a year, but within the first couple months, I manage all the in-home assessments and all the calls. And I realized that the people who were calling were very stressed out and had a lot of anxiety, from a medical emergency, typically a surgery or stroke, or maybe a family member with dementia or Parkinson's, and it really just catches the families off guard. So from that experience, I created a seminar called the Northern Nevada Senior Empowerment Seminar. And the goal was to help reduce stress and anxiety for our community. These seniors don't have to be stressed. It's like anything in life, if you have the information and you know the process, you can reduce stress. So feel very blessed to have an amazing team of 12 different experts in the community that kind of walk through the process of care for these seniors.
Nice. Oh, that's fantastic. And I love that you saw that and said, "Okay, here's an issue and I'm the one to solve it," and you did it.
I appreciate
Um,
that.
yeah,
I just it's funny being the community outreach person for Lend a Hand Home Care. I get to meet wonderful people in hospice and home health and skilled nursing facilities and rehabs and hospitals and independent living communities. It really is amazing how many heartfelt people are out there that genuinely care about our seniors and want to help them live the best lives that they can. End of life.
definitely. It is a cool group of people that we have here in our community. Bringing
Mm.
them together is amazing. So, yeah. So you're talking about you do these in-home assessments. You get phone calls, people super stressed, not prepared. What are the kind of most common mistakes that families make responding to a crisis with an elderly family member?
Yeah, the thing that's sad is about 80% of seniors can't afford home care services. So that's the planning part that we put together in the seminar. We have Wendy Hammond, who's a financial advisor, legacy wealth planning. So she kind of goes over the importance of having your finances in order, having long-term care insurance. Then it goes to Kyle Winter. Kyle Winter is an attorney who talks about the importance of having your medical and financial POAs in place, having a trust in place. A lot of people don't realize that if you have a will, it can still go to probate. You really need a trust to protect your assets, and if you don't, it can cost upwards of $25,000. And obviously, that's you're going through enough as ifs, and then to have that financial burden. Then we have a real estate expert, Colleen Fueling. She assists a lot of clients with transitioning from living in a home to community. So she helps with selling real estate and things like that. She's wonderful. And then we have Jenny Mercer. She's with Pam Acute Medical. So she kind of goes over kind of the hospital experience and then also Medicare, Medicaid. And then it comes to me at Lend a Hand Home Care, explain the value of staying in your home as long as you can and having caregivers that can help you cook and clean and after surgeries we assist with transfers and bathing and there's a lot of different things that we can do, med reminders and transportation. So we pretty much do it all. We just don't do landscaping. I always say we do it all. We just don't do landscaping.
Yeah.
And then it goes to a vet, Wiederhold, Miss Yvette, as she goes by, which is Sierra Nevada Home Health. So that's wound care, skilled nursing. And then it goes to Colette with Clearwater at Ranchera, which is a really nice community. It's a assisted living community in Reno, and then we have Nicole at Brookdale Reno, which is a memory care. I mean, we just really have an amazing group. So it really walks people through the planning, financial phase into really after a hospital experience and the things that are needed after that.
Nice, nice. Just wrap around. We've got you. We've got you all the way through this process.
Yeah, I mean, we've got
That's
12. I mean, we even have Blake from Walton's. And so every time we host this seminar, it's amazing because we all learn something new. We had Donna Clontz. She manages the AARP locally
Mhm.
and Age Friendly Reno. And I was very thankful. She's like, wow, that was so much information. I learned a bunch of things. And so someone like her who works with seniors, for the last 20 years, it's good to know that the information that we are providing is in depth and it's just to have all the experts in one place at one time. So I'm
Yeah,
very thankful for the
yeah,
support.
absolutely. When do you have dates of your next one?
Yeah, the next one is actually hosted during Older Americans Month. May 15th, we'll be at the Reno Senior Center from 11 to 1. We provide some snacks, and then we have a guest speaker over lunch. And so all the seminars are 2 hours and 12 speakers, and then a guest speaker over lunch.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're gonna remind our listeners again before we leave because that's coming up. That's coming up. Good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Time flies.
I know, right? We'll blink and we'll
Sure.
be there for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you're seeing that a lack of preparedness is causing a lot of the stress, maybe most of the stress for the
Mhm.
people that you interact with initially.
Exactly, definitely. So the
Yeah.
financial component's a big component.
Yeah.
And then just not knowing who to call, not having your, POAs in place. That's really important. People don't realize if somebody's not doesn't get an official diagnosis of dementia before they get an opportunity to sign those forms, they lose out on that opportunity, and it makes seniors vulnerable. And so that's a
Absolutely.
really important thing that I think families need to remember, or, when that time comes that you recognize that there are those cognitive deficits in place, that you get that in place immediately, because there is a window, and the goal obviously is to protect your loved one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, nobody really wants in our society, I think, to talk about those things. Like I'm getting a little forgetful. Maybe I should be putting some things in place now.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and just helping a family to acknowledge that and in a maybe a respectful and helpful way rather than, trying to hide it or deny it, right? Getting it in enough time to get those things in place, specifically
Exactly.
POA. And
Mhm.
what else do you think are some resources and things to get in place very early, aside from the POA? Maybe
Yeah, I
things
think
to
a
do.
lot of it is also in education
Yeah,
in regards to like dementia. There's a good amount of people when they go in, that when our seniors go into surgeries, that if they shut their brain down, that they come out and they have dementia symptoms. And I mean, I've been in the home where I have the mother saying, "I just want my husband back. I just want my husband back."
yeah,
And because you don't think about that. We're just going in for a regular surgery, but if you shut your brain down, you can have issues. Also, medication-induced dementia. So there's, and that's the tough part, right? Like everything's fine. You're just kind of, you haven't even started having those mental issues, and then you go in for just a regular surgery, or you start a new medication, and then it hits you. So that would be another thing I would highly recommend. It might be early 50s, mid 50s that I would recommend getting all that stuff in place. Um, I think that'd be very helpful. Um, we work with Infinity Hospice and we work with Circle of Life Hospice, two of the best hospice, I believe, locally. You and I met through Chaplain Chaz, as you
yeah,
know, over lunch, which was great. And you do a lot of amazing help with people in that organization. So, those organizations are huge. I know Chaplain Chaz always says, "Hey, it's something that don't be afraid of because the funding is there. It's 100% funded. And so when you get to that point of end of life to use those services, because a lot of people don't,
right.
and that's kind of sad. Someone who could have had better days in the last couple of weeks, if not months of life. Um, so no, very very thankful with the team that I have.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. So knowing about those resources, I mean, I think attending your seminar, you're talking to me about some things, I'm in my early 50s and very, very early 50s, right? But it's
Yeah.
probably, yeah, it's probably a good time to start looking at that. Like what do I want to have in place? What does my, my what kind of powers does a spouse have versus a power of attorney and all of those things. So meeting with some of the folks in your seminar. Yeah, it's a good idea for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. And everybody who attends the seminar, we provide magnets. So all the experts are there on the magnet, and we provide local resources as well, like the Alzheimer's Association, Parkinson's Support Center, OLLI, which provides great courses for seniors, and then the Sanford Center for Aging. I mean, you name it. I mean, we really have a bunch of really good resources on that magnet.
Yeah.
And so that is a part of empowering the seniors to say, hey, you have it. If you have any questions, just give us a call. If I can't help somebody, I will redirect. And that was the main deciding factor of who was a part of this team. Is they have to have a big heart and genuinely care about our community, and every single person does. And I think it just makes it a very powerful resource for our local
Absolutely.
seniors.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, I really hate this next topic. Navigating our our medical system sometimes can be such a nightmare, but a lot of times these medical emergencies, we're talking about preparedness for just successful aging, really, right? But medical emergencies come with financial and legal complications a lot of times. You just introduce something going under anesthesia can cause some unexpected things to happen. Um, Maybe we can talk about some financial planning, legal preparations for an emergency there, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why we have Wendy Hammond and Kyle Winter,
Mhm.
our financial planner, then a lawyer. And that's one thing that's great is they're willing to meet with anybody and kind of go over everybody's situation. So they really are very powerful to have. Very grateful for their support.
Yeah, before an emergency, just having the conversation
Mhm.
can make really all the difference with them for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so you mentioned um, home care, hospice services, versus like home health. I think home health is kind of people understand that a little bit more, but can you talk about the difference between home health and home care?
Yeah, the main difference is home care is non-skilled. So our caregivers are trained, background checks, drug screening,
Mhm.
but they do all the home care services in the home. And that's cooking, cleaning, laundry, changing linens, assisting with transfers, bathing, hygiene, could be med reminders. We also water plants and take care of pets and walk pets
Ish.
and transportations for grabbing groceries. And so everything to kind of keep people independent in their home, where home health is skilled nursing. So you're talking about skilled nurses, OT, occupational therapists, physical therapists, who can come in the home. And so instead of somebody having to go out and get those services, it comes to the client, and it's 100% covered by Medicaid, Medicare. And so it's a nice service to have. Miss Yvette manages that in our group. She's with Sierra Nevada Home Health, and she's a veteran. She's a Marine. I always want to say she was a Marine, but no, she's a Marine,
Always a Marine. Yep.
and she's wonderful. And I would say she has the most connections, I think, of anybody that I know within the medical field. And I ran into her at lunch today, and she really inspires me to be better. And
She's
but
got some
she's
energy, that
wonderful.
one.
Yeah, she's great. So you should have her on for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah, she's scheduled. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, fantastic. And then just for those who may not be as familiar with hospice, I was absolutely grateful for hospice when in my father's last months of life just made all the difference. But maybe you can share a little bit more details about what Chaplain Chaz offers and Circle of Life and other hospice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest value of hospice is you have someone who's there. You have nurses that are there to check on the patients and to manage any of the meds and just be a comfort for the family. And then Chaplain Chaz comes in and he's the emotional spiritual counselor. And so really non-denominational. He meets people where they're at, which is great. And I think the average lifespan of someone on hospice is like 7 days, which is not a long period of time. People do qualify for up to 6 months once a doctor approves it. And then if a client or patient is on hospice for 6 months, they can get that renewed. So there have been people who have gotten better getting that kind of attention, having hospice in the house. So it really is a blessing, and it's wonderful that our government covers it fully. And also, they provide like a free equipment. So if somebody needs a hospital bed or any of that kind of equipment, they just cover it, and
Nice.
that's a part of the service.
Nice. And I like how you said that too. You just having that care and um the emotional care, but also all of just the things that we don't even think about, like, man, this would make it nice. Having a hospital bed in the home, right? Those kinds of things would make it so much more comfortable that, yeah, life can be extended. Our time with our loved ones can be extended and just so much more enjoyable, less heartbreaking in the end with that kind of support. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So and we look at, when I look at my experience with my father's end of life, which happened, I'm coming up on the second anniversary of it. Um, and the experience that I had is obviously very different than the experience he had, but having hospice there reduces stress on
Mhm.
both sides, right? His experience was better, mine was better as well. And just again, having that guide is amazing through anything, but the end of life especially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's one truth in this world and in this industry, and that's none of us get out of this alive. So
that's right.
it's really nice just to have the emotional comfort and knowing that people love you and care about you at the end of life, and having the resources and people to guide the family through the process. That's another element of what I'd like to think our team does.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you and I both have seen evidence of that and what that does for people and their loved ones going into end of life, what that means. It's a beautiful, actually really beautiful thing. So, um, yeah, it doesn't have to be as painful as we all kind of think it is, right? One thing about our society, I think, is just this lack of knowledge, understanding, education, preparedness in this whole process. It's uncomfortable enough for those who don't know or aren't educated about it that we just eh, we'll white knuckle through it at the end, right?
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things you can do or you can do when you share this video is when we were at Ollie, we had all the experts videoed. And so on our YouTube channel, it's Senior Empowerment Seminar, the YouTube channel.
Yeah, of
And so if anybody watches this, and obviously a lot of people are going to watch this,
course.
anybody interested in watching and learning more, they could check out those videos immediately. You don't have to wait to it for a seminar. That's one of the reasons why we did it, because we understand that timing is everything, and we don't want people to have to wait if they don't have to.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, we'll get this out as far and wide as possible. I think that what you've put together in this community, every community needs this, Matt. I'm just going to tell you that. Every community needs this. Um, I didn't have the kind of wraparound service. My father was in Colorado. I was in Colorado with him at the end of his life, and we didn't we didn't have one kind of continued service. It was what can we find here and there, right? And there was some issue with overlap there at times, and so which caused more problems than than we needed. And so having this kind of a group together is just such a yeah stroke of genius on your part, and I thank you for that.
Well, I feel very blessed to have the opportunity to see a need and fill it. And this wouldn't have come together if it wasn't for everybody seeing that vision and saying, yes, this is very important. So I appreciate your kind thoughts about it. And I would love to see it expand everywhere around the country. I know with one of our one of our experts, Christine Busnell with Physical Therapy and Balance Centers, they have kind of broached the topic of expanding and taking this national. At like I think they have over 400 locations, and so if this could be implemented in 400 different towns across the country with the backing of a wonderful company like Physical, then hopefully someday that comes to fruition. That'd be great.
That's beautiful. Well, and if anyone can do it, they're lucky to have you kind of spearheading this and putting the framework together too, right? Like this is, yeah, it's a good thing for
I'm
sure.
always happy to help. That's kind of what I do.
And I have my magnet on my fridge, so I always know who to call.
That's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So those of us who are realizing, for me, like I say, I'm in my early 50s, but I'm sure people watching, oh my gosh, my parents are beyond that or something. And, I'm sure the intent is not to panic anyone, right?
Yeah.
But what's the first thing? You mentioned that there are some videos, education on the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
But what's the first thing that you think somebody should do if they're realizing that, oh my gosh, I'm unprepared?
Yeah, I think the first thing is try to understand the financial component of everything and look at the finances. I think, the difference is when someone calls me, it's how much does this cost, right? It's like I don't even care like about your services, just how cheap are you? And that's there's a lot of agencies out there. We at Lend a Hand pay our caregivers very well. We want them to have a good life. And they get the most training, dementia care, Parkinson's care, and background checks and drug screenings. The one thing that's very interesting about Lend a Hand is 99, we're 99 point whatever in compliance. Where if you ask any of the other home care agencies, they have no idea. They don't even track it. And so that's a testament to Russ Graff, who is the executive director for Lend a Hand. He takes it serious. It's very, very important. And, that one less than 1%, it's required that the caregivers, even if they don't want to drive, still have to provide their insurance information. So the majority of the time, that's what that very minor percent
Yeah.
is because they're like, well, we're not driving anyway. Why do we even have to provide it? But the reality is that actually affects our compliance ratings. So our team takes that serious. We've got great caregivers in the office who put together the care plans, and then we have 65 different caregivers. So um, it's a good company.
Nice. Nice. Good. Good. And yeah, but you mentioned that financial aspect, this is dealing with our, medical system the way it is. That's a
Yeah.
fear. It's a big fear. And so I love that you point out that, hey, there's, especially in your case, there's a reason why
Mhm.
rates are what they are.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
this, yeah, and there's help there at different income levels or different cost levels.
Right.
Your
But the
organization.
level of protection as well, because all the horror stories that we hear from caregivers, and can give an example. This was a guardianship attorney, is the issues don't really happen with agencies because the caregivers background checks, drug screenings, and we stay on top of it. Um, and it's the private caregivers. And so this guardianship attorney mentioned how he had a client and they hadn't used an agency. It was just a caregiver. He had been diagnosed with dementia, but he started giving everybody a little something.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Anyone who came into the house, he was gifting things. He just happened to give the private caregiver, it was like $500,000 in jewels and gems.
Oh,
And there was
nice.
nothing that the police could do because he was giving things away. And um, which was very, very frustrating. But as in an agency, our caregivers sign forms, they can't even accept anything. And that's just a part of it. I've had people, even when I do assessments, offer me things. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. That's just a part of this is how we protect you. It's very nice of you, very kind of you, but yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And and that's, so it's the private caregivers and they want people, some people want to use them because they're less expensive, which I understand.
But they
Um,
can wind up being much, much more expensive because
exactly,
things like
for
that.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And wow. Yeah. And so I think I love that you have included kind of that financial planning aspect too, which I'm sure
Mhm.
they can educate a lot on that piece. Like here's how at your like with what you have, right? Financially, here's the best plan that we can create for you.
Exactly. And then we also have, like I mentioned earlier, Colleen Fueling, who's really a senior coach. She assists, she's a realtor as well, a senior expert realtor. But she really cares about helping people during the different transitions, and transitions happen. Some people move in with their loved ones, with their kids, and then some move into communities, and she assists with that.
Yeah, Colleen's great. Colleen's great. I love her. So helping people downsize when they need to downsize and yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So your ultimate goal, I mean, we've talked about possibility of expanding, we've talked about a lot of different things. What's your ultimate goal? What drives this? What impact do you hope to have?
So the impact's interesting because I'm constantly looking for ways to better the community. One of the things that I realize is our community is very splintered and fragmented. There's a lot of nonprofits, and then there's a lot of different or just organizations in general that are trying to do good works, and I think a lot of them do good works. But I feel like everybody's kind of pulling in their own direction. And so if you look at it from state funding, federal funding, nonprofits, foundation funding in general, the money's going all over the place. And so I've talked with a couple senior leaders, and I'm hoping to put together a team of the top 12 senior leaders, different nonprofits and different organizations and just people in the community, and come up with a list of the top 10 issues that really need to be addressed. I know Washoe County is currently working on a survey to kind of understand that. I need to understand a little bit more about the survey, who's it being sent out to. What I'm hearing is that actually housing is the number one issue for seniors because they get only so much Social Security, and then they get kind of pushed out of their home because they can't manage on such a small amount of money. And so I've got this bigger vision. First, come up with that list of the top 10 issues so the funding isn't spread out, that we can literally say number one issue, and then all the money goes there, we can address it. So we actually can get things done. And then, so for that housing issue, which I do believe is number one, I see creating a foundation with like a $5 million endowment to start to kind of get the drawings going, the engineered drawings, to create a community of about 7 to 10,000 seniors where it's not managed by a private company, so we wouldn't raise rent. It would be kind of like a Clearwater. It'd be kind of like a ranchera community, where there's retail, it's a courtyard, and then we could have these living quarters behind that, gated. So it'd be a way to protect our seniors. But one of the things about Lend a Hand Home Care and a lot of other different people that would love to help out, we have minimum 4 hours per shift and 12 hours a week. But in that kind of an environment, we could have a retail space downstairs, be on site, and then run around in 15-minute increments because there's a dire need. I probably turn away 80% of the people who call me because they want an hour for a shower or 2 hours for, a few things. And so having that kind of communal space with retail, a grocery store, a movie theater, where people can get out, socialize, and it's in a safe community
Yeah.
would be good for our seniors, but then we could lock in the price. If you move in at 1,000 a month, we're not raising rent. And that's having that nonprofit where the goal would be just to fund and take care of the property. Obviously, you'd have to have a reserve fund for the buildings. You'd have to, take care of stuff like that. But I think the retail spaces in that communal area could also offset the costs. And
Absolutely. What a
so,
genius idea.
yeah, I would love to do that. I see that as being something in every community in America as well. Like obviously, the rural communities would be a smaller type community, but
Mhm.
I look at it as a way of protecting our seniors. I'm pretty sure if that's built, we could have like there's a million renowns. Like we could have a renown that could be on site, right? And we could have Sierra Nevada Home Health. You could have Lend a Hand Home Care. You could have just all these different services for seniors that would be there, and it would simplify their lives. And I think it would, just help overall.
Amazing, amazing. And so I'm going to take a half a step back and clarify for those who who are listening or watching right now, who are not in the Reno area. So the Ranchera community is it's a community that includes not just homes, but retail space, all of that in Reno. And Renown is medical, they provide medical services here, hospitals and I think urgent cares too. Yeah. So medical offices. So to have all of that in a space where, a kind of a fully developed smaller community intended for seniors.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful
I
idea.
appreciate that. And the number one thing that gets our seniors is falls. And once they fall, that's obviously when they're going to the store. So to have everything on site, I think we could reduce that issue as well. And maybe even line the courtyard with a nice foam pad for everybody. So everybody bounces.
Right.
It'll be like a little outdoor bounce house. But yeah, so there
Really
is a
customized, really
yeah,
customized.
there's a way to protect our seniors. And I just, there's bigger brains than I am. It would be nice to see the issues actually addressed rather than money being spread around to everybody. And in the end, it doesn't really address the needs of the community.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that centralizing all of that would be just amazing. I love that. I love that so much. Um, okay. All right. So let's close out this evening with um the next upcoming seminar. Let's remind our listeners when and where, how do they register, what do they do, how do we get there?
Sure. So the next seminar, the next Northern Nevada Senior Empowerment Seminar is being held on May 15th from 11 to 1 o'clock at the Reno Senior Center. And so there is no registration, just show up and we provide snacks over lunch and it's free for the community. So if you have any friends or if you know anybody who might benefit from having the information, please share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's fantastic. Okay. And how can folks get in touch with you, Matt?
So the best way to get a hold of me is at this point, let's go through lend a hand. So my first initial M and then my last name Bruback. So MBRUBACK at lend a hand homecare.com.
Beautiful. Okay. And I will put your contact information. I always keep it updated on the in the show notes. So anyone watching this will always have direct access to you. Um, Beautiful. And so I see a comment in chat from one of our viewers. You're amazing, Matt. That's from Carrie, our good friend Carrie.
Oh,
So,
wonderful. Very
of
nice. Thank
course.
you,
Yeah.
Carrie.
Yeah,
Appreciate
if we have
it.
any other questions for Matt, you can put that in chat now. But Matt, anything else that we have not covered that you feel, I'll give you the last word, what's important to you, what's important to the Reno community, the seniors in the community.
Yeah, I would say the most important thing in any community is really working together. So,
Mhm.
what makes Reno Sparks so beautiful and so wonderful is there's so many loving people that genuinely care about other people, but they're willing to give their time. And when you're in this industry, you realize the most valuable thing we have is time. So, Thankful for your friendship and having me on tonight, and looking forward to connect with more people, because the more we work together, the better that life becomes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Matt, thank you so much. And thank you for our attendees. Carrie, thank you for being here too. I really appreciate you. And I look forward to uh, attending the seminar as well. I'm going to bring some of my folks as well. So, yeah, I appreciate you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you
Uh,
so much, Joel.
Okay. Yeah. And thanks everyone for being here. All right. Until next time.